Today I'm reacting to your wrestling hot takes. And if I sound like shit, it's because I just woke up, so I need some coffee to make it through all the terrible things that you guys sent in. If you want to participate in next week's hot takes video, please make sure to follow me on X. That's where I ask for your hot takes every Thursday so that you can submit them in for next week's video. By the way, this video is going to look significantly worse because my editor escaped from the basement. I don't know how. I had him chained up. I just don't understand how he got out. I'm coming for you. Slippy, that's right. I said your name. Slippy, I'm gonna find you. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I'm confident you're gonna fall in love with this channel because we upload daily wrestling content. All right, let's read some stupid shit. Edge will be the reason MJF stays in AEW. I don't know exactly what you're going off of here as to why Edge would be the one to convince MJF to renew his contract in 2024, but I picked this one because it is interesting to note that I do think that Edge adds more value to AEW in just being an in-ring performer because he can now be a mature voice in that normally childish AEW locker room, a locker room that just gets into fights with one another and can't seem to coexist whenever there's major personalities in there. So somebody like an Edge could really taper that down so that people can actually have adult conversations back there. So I think, like I said, there is more value to Edge in just being an in-ring performer. I think he's going to be a voice of reason in that locker room. NXT is the best wrestling show on the planet right now, and this point is being consolidated by bringing legends on the show every single week like Asuka, John Cena, and Cody Rhodes. So I do think that NXT is the best wrestling show right now, at the very least the most underrated wrestling show, and more people should be watching NXT. But I don't necessarily buy the notion that because they are adding legends like Asuka, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, etc., that makes it a better show. It was already, honestly, without those people, the best wrestling show on the planet. I do get what you're saying, like they're trying to bookend and really put that statement out there that NXT is the best thing in wrestling at the moment. But again, I don't necessarily think that Asuka, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, etc. makes it a better wrestling show than it already was. I think it's just going to make that episode more special, but NXT was awesome with or without them. AEW is giving major TNA in 2011-2014 vibes. The crowds are getting smaller, they're losing viewers, and the production is still not better after 4 years. I think a lot of talent will end up leaving in 2024 as they are misused. Okay, like in terms of viewership and crowds, sure, they might be getting smaller for AEW, but I think it's finding its norm. I don't think it's collapsing like TNA did at that time. I think it's just finding, okay, like we had this peak of popularity, but now we're going to taper down and we're at our ceiling now, and they're going to need to break out of that ceiling again to find that next level, to find that next gear. But I don't think that it's as doom and gloom as that era of TNA. I do find it interesting that you think that a lot of AEW talent are going to leave in 2024 because they're being misused. I think that you're right. I think that there are a lot of AEW wrestlers that feel like they could be doing more because they have such a bloated roster that they aren't getting TV time. And I think a great example is somebody like a Miro Andrade, like an Aleister Black. So I do see an exodus once a lot of these contracts end, either back to WWE or to the independent circuit. AEW is making the same mistakes as WCW by bringing old talent in. Eventually, WWE will take their most good young stars and will benefit in the long run. Jesus, what is this? This is the I Hate AEW episode of Hot Takes, it seems. Look, AEW needs to make the most with what they have. They don't have a performance center, so they can't rely on building homegrown talent, at least not in the same way that the WWE does. Okay, I'll give you that many of their new signees have been older former WWE superstars, but still, like, there is a lot of great young talent in AEW, like, of course, their champion MJF. We have the likes of Jay White over there, Ricky Starks. Like, they really do have a good crop of 20-something, early 30-something year olds over there. But again, like, to compare the system of the WWE to be able to develop young stars to AEW, like, it's borderline not fair. Like, we're talking about a machine that's been building itself to be able to be self-sustainable for the past 50 years, while AEW AEW has been around for 4. Like, we have to give AEW the benefit of the doubt, and they need to be able to benefit from utilizing talent that the WWE didn't want to use. And in many cases, that is older talent. So long as they don't bloat the top of their card with older talent like WCW ended up doing, like later stages TNA ended up doing, then I think they're going to be just fine. Congratulations to OIM Omega for winning the $1,750 giveaway. And fellas, this week's giveaway is insane. We are at the $2,000 mark. For this giveaway, you can win $2,000 or you can take a PC and a PS5. You can take the cash or the prize. To enter, you just have to click the top link in the description or the pinned comment. It'll take you to this landing page where you can see the prizes, and then click here to enter giveaway. Next, you'll have to put in your email and your username. Make sure you put in a valid email because that's where we'll contact you if you win. From there, it'll take you to the Capital One Shopping Extension install page. To enter your giveaway entry, you have to install the Capital One Shopping Extension to your browser. It is completely free and it'll take you about 30 seconds to enter. Once you've installed the extension, that's it. You are in for this giveaway and all future ones that we do with Capital One Shopping. We're going to be doing the draw for this one fairly soon, so make sure you enter quickly. Now back to the video. Carlito is the LWO's last hope for relevancy. Just disband the group if you have no use for them outside of standing behind Rey Mysterio during promos. I still don't know 2 of their names. Dude, neither do I. I always have to Google Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde. Phoenix? No, Phoenix is the guy that plays the Joker. Yeah, Joaquin Wilde. I always have to Google those 2 whenever I'm talking or making videos about the LWO. So I totally get where you're coming from. The LWO definitely needs a breath of fresh air. I love Rey Mysterio as much of a deadbeat father as he is, but I just don't think that he is the right person to be leading a faction with a history of being cool and edgy and fun, because Rey Mysterio is just too nice and wholesome. I really think that the perfect person to lead the LWO is Carlito Cool. Carlito can make the LWO cool. He can make them that fun heel faction. He can make them that fun, edgy babyface faction as well. But I love Rey Mysterio, but I just don't think he's the right person for it. And Santos Escobar sure as shit is not right or ready to be leading the LWO yet. If Cena truly is facing Roman at Crown Jewel, it should either not be for the title or John should win his number 17. John taking another L to Roman would do nothing for either parties. Yeah, I've been seeing this floating around that Saudi Arabia wants John Cena versus Roman Reigns at their Crown Jewel event, which, I mean, like, I'm kind of down for because I am a John Cena fan, but I don't know if I want John Cena to be the one to beat Roman Reigns. I just don't think that that's right. I do get what you're saying that, you know, Roman beating John Cena again doesn't really do anything for Roman. And here's the thing, like, that match doesn't do anything for either of those guys because both of those guys are already made megastars. So there is no match that does anything for them anymore. They're already at the top of the mountain. They've already accomplished what every WWE superstar seeks out to accomplish. So this match would really just be about making money and making a lot of money. Chad Gable has everything you want and need in a world champion. There is no reason to give him a top belt at this point in his career. I mean, I like Chad Gable. You like Chad Gable. We all like Chad Gable. I can tell you the reason. The reason is that he's short. Like, that's just the reason. Like, I mean, they even try to make it an entire gimmick at one point in his career with Shorty G. The WWE has just been notoriously bad at giving people who are under 5'8" a chance in the WWE. I don't actually know if he's under 5'8", but compared to the other monsters that are in the WWE, it sure feels like he's under 5'8". So that is the reason. Like I'm not discriminating against short people. I'm just telling you that's the reason. He's short. The Rock versus Roman Reigns would be one of the most underwhelming matches if it ever happened. Why would it be underwhelming? Okay, sure, it wouldn't be this like technical masterpiece like a Gunta versus Chad Gable, but it would still be absolutely insane. The crowd would be so electric. Just the stare down. Like, remember, The Rock versus Hulk Hogan was a terrible match that so many people look back on fondly as one of the best matches in WrestleMania history because the crowd was so behind it, because the crowd was so electric. It doesn't all have to be a technical marvel in the ring for it to be a memorable wrestling match. And I think that The Rock versus Roman Reigns would be shades of The Rock versus Hulk Hogan. I think in the ring it would be better than The Rock versus Hulk Hogan personally, but that's all it needs. It just needs to be this bigger than life match that we never thought was possible coming to life in front of us for us to lose our collective shit over it. So I disagree with this, and I disagree with this wholeheartedly. Santi Zap is the most underrated YouTuber on the planet. Heard he has a big dick too. Ryback should win the Royal Rumble. Why? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, and maybe you meant should have won the Royal Rumble. Maybe the one, what that John Cena ended up winning to make it twice in a lifetime versus The Rock. Sure, I'll give you that. That could have been entertaining to have Ryback win because he was super over at that time. But at this point, why? As shitty of a time as COVID was, COVID era WWE was one of the funnest times to be a WWE fan. They were going out of their element and made every week interesting. So I always laugh when people say this because there are some really fun elements of the COVID era, but I always think of it as you are only looking back on this fondly because you have rose tinted glasses. The COVID era of WWE was 99% horrible. It was, okay, I might be exaggerating there, but it was mostly bad with a couple of gems of creativity that will go down in history as some of the coolest things that the WWE has ever done, a la the Firefly Funhouse match, the Boneyard match, etc. Like there were some really, really cool things that the WWE attempted, but it was mostly bad. It was mostly terrible, and we're just looking back fondly on it because we're out of that terrible era. So now we can focus on the good things that came out of it, but it was mostly bad. Randy Orton will jump ship to AEW from WWE. See, I would have told you, you're fucking stupid. You're crazy. This would never happen. But I also would have said the same thing about Edge going to AEW. So, I mean, I don't know at this point. It may be that everything is fair game and love and war in this in this war between the WWE and AEW, but I just don't see Randy Orton doing it. But again, like I said, I never thought Edge would either, and here we are. Jade Cargill and Gunther should win the Royal Rumble matches. I'll give you Gunther, but I feel like Jade Cargill needs to earn it a little bit more, and I don't think that winning the Royal Rumble right off the get-go from her debut is the right way to do it. I think you can still put her in a major spot going into WrestleMania without having her win the Royal Rumble. I think the fans need to get to know Jade Cargill a little bit more before we put such a giant accolade on her. So I'm gonna disagree with Jade Cargill, but I still think she should get catapulted to the top of the main event in the women's roster. Swerve Strickland is the best AEW superstar by far right now and should be their top guy. Not having him be that already is a huge mistake. Homie, I'm kind of with you. Swerve Strickland is so fantastic. I think he's the best thing that AEW has right now, and it makes me so upset that the WWE fumbled with him and let him go because he has flourished into one of the most entertaining wrestlers on the planet today, and he has such a great manager, Prince Nana, because I swear when I drop. Anyways, I love Swerve Strickland. I think that he should be pegged to be AEW's first black AEW World Heavyweight Champion. He should definitely be in contention for the World Championship at some point sooner rather than later because he is just way too good. Edge is very boring in AEW at the moment. What are you going off of? He's had 2 appearances and both of them were like pretty well received. Like the segment with Christian on Dynamite was pretty cool. A lot of people love the debut. What's boring? I honestly just think that you are somebody that doesn't like the fact that Edge went to AEW because there is no substantial evidence to go off of in any way, shape, or form yet, as of the making of this video, that Edge is boring in AEW. I don't know what the hell you're going off of. If MJF goes to WWE, his first feud should be John Cena. They would create magic on the mic and lead one of the best feuds in wrestling. Look, I'm just gonna say it. MJF at this moment in his career, I think he's gonna continue to get better and better and better. MJF would get absolutely fucking torched by John Cena on the microphone. It would need a John Cena that is willing to tone himself down and not completely bury MJF for this to be a really, really fun mic battle between the two. I still think it could be fun, but John Cena just has a tendency, whether it's on purpose or not on purpose, to absolutely bury people on the microphone because he's just so much better than everyone else. But I'm still down for MJF versus John Cena as a feud. I'm just saying, be trepidatious when we say we want MJF versus John Cena, because John Cena could ruin MJF just as quickly as make him a superstar. Yokozuna is the greatest Japanese wrestler of all time. You cannot change my mind. You sure I can't change your mind? Are you absolutely sure? How about I blow your mind instead? Yokozuna isn't Japanese. So, yeah, does that change your mind? WWE needs to consider bringing back CM Punk. Punk returning to the WWE would be a much bigger deal than Adam Copeland's surprise debut at AEW Wrestle Dream. Punk's return will be a bigger business move than Adam Copeland's in AEW. I agree with all of this. I think CM Punk is a bigger needle mover in terms of ratings, money, merch sales than Edge ever was. Plus, the intrigue of what CM Punk would be like in the WWE nowadays is just too fascinating. Let's not forget that this is a man that left the WWE with so much blood to the point that he basically retired from professional wrestling for the better part of like 6-7 years, only to be brought out by AEW, which, by the way, if Punk does return to WWE, every WWE fan needs to collectively thank AEW for helping bring Punk out of retirement. So there's that. But I think you're right here. I think that it is a bigger deal to get CM Punk than it is to get Edge, especially at this point. And when you add the context of CM Punk and WWE and all of the drama with AEW, it just generates a tremendous amount of headlines. So you're right here. Adam Cole is the greatest wrestler to never be called up to the main roster. You're right. I can't think of anyone else. Yeah, you're right. NXT is a worse show between SmackDown and Raw. Look, I know you're sending this to be a contrarian because everybody else seems to believe the opposite, but here's the thing. You're supposed to be right. NXT is supposed to be worse than SmackDown and Raw. It's supposed to be a developmental brand for SmackDown and Raw. SmackDown and Raw are supposed to be the flagship shows. The fact that NXT is even in consideration, even in conversation for being better than Raw and SmackDown is bad. It's not a good thing for Raw and SmackDown, who has all of these megastars, that has all of the budget, all of the pyro, all the production. NXT has no reason to be better or even in the conversation to be as good as Raw and SmackDown, and yet it is. Anyways, I'm done. If you want to send in your hot takes for next week, you know where to go. Go to X, check the link in bio. Cheers. Get out of here.